Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Qualified Podcast. With me today is Alex, and he is going to be sharing his business cleaning service called Scrublu. Alex, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story.
Of course. Nice to meet you, Michael, and happy to be here and share a little bit about my background with you guys.
So let's jump right into it with background. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Give us all the good stuff.
Yeah, so I was born and raised here in Louisville, Kentucky. Lived here my whole entire life. I actually saw that you all did another interview with one of our quote unquote competitors,
Who was that?
Deep Blue Clean and
Okay.
Marlon. Yeah. So he's a good guy. They run a tight ship over there as well. But it's just interesting that you could see from like small areas, small cities, there's some good people running good businesses.
Absolutely. And it seems like the smaller areas are starting to pop up a lot more with these call it remote cleaning services or remote service businesses, more so than the big cities, Chicago, New York, LA, Dallas. I mean, they're still there, but it
Yep.
seems like the honeypot now is the smaller subsections of these other states and cities that people are not so maybe familiar with, but not automatically jumping to starting a business.
Course, and I 100% agree with you. So we have our Louisville location. We've been around, I'd say, operating for a year and a half now, and we're expanding our team within the office as well. And we want to branch out to another city. What we're looking for is like these smaller Midwest or smaller Southern cities. I believe it's easier to grow and become part of the community per se and sort of dominate in that aspect. Whereas, like with if you were to open up a cleaning company in Austin, Texas, or Houston, or Chicago, New York, it's going to be very hard to dominate that local market.
Absolutely. Um, we're going to dive into marketing later, but one of the big things is SEO and trying to start SEO with competition in those cities, like you just mentioned, so much harder, not necessarily harder, but a lot more money you got to spend to get up there and rank fast. But Madison, Wisconsin, Louisville, Kentucky, all these little smaller cities, you can get there faster. And just like you said, be part of that community and grow and branch out faster than you could in a major city. So anybody looking to start a cleaning service or lawn care, dog walking, anything like that, I say the honeypot right now is jumping on those cities that are lesser known, but still have a good sized population. When you were younger, what was the dream? What was the aspirations when you were a little kid?
It is all over the place, as it is for a lot of kids growing up. I think you're going to become like a professional athlete or uh, like an astronaut or something. Realistically, when I got to high school, or growing up, I always thought I was gonna be like a NBA player, but once I got to high school, I was only 5'2", so I didn't even make the freshman team. So I was like, "Alright, we have to get real here." I've always had a thing for entrepreneurship, like, throughout high school, I was always cutting our neighbors' lawns, doing mulching, landscaping, power washing, so on and so forth. So I've always sort of had a hustle in my bone, and that comes from my dad as well. But throughout high school, I knew I always wanted to become like an entrepreneur. I had always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but I didn't know whether or not to take that risk right out of high school because it is scary. So I went with like the more safer route. Once I got to college, I chose my major, which was economics, and then I went on to work for Invesco, if you've ever heard of them. Did like investment management and stuff. And I mean, I just remember day to day throughout the jobs I had after college, the only thing I could think of was something to start, something to do on the side of my 9 to 5 job. And what's funny is I started a lot differently from other people. I've been cleaning for the past 10 years just because my aunt had a cleaning company as well. And of course, hers wasn't like, I guess you would say it wasn't like well put together. She was more like the owner operator. So me and her would go to these jobs. I remember cleaning hot yoga studios, law offices, just completely random stuff. And then once I got to college or after college and once I started working these jobs, that's the only thing I could think of was to start my own thing. And then that's what led me to start a cleaning company.
So did you, because of her want to start this, or did she kind of nudge you and say like, hey, why don't you start your own? What was there a reason for the split and not continuing, or helping her grow hers versus you starting yours?
I mean, I always say there's room for everyone in any market. Like as you see with her, she's doing very, very well. We also have Deep Blue Clean, which you all did an interview with, and there's me. So there's 3 people I know that's in Louisville that has a well flourishing cleaning company. I mean, there's room for it for anyone, and that doesn't go to say like if I know someone in Tampa that has a cleaning company, I'm not just not going to start one there just because they're there. It's more or less if you were to look at the market, do you see room for potential, so on and so forth. She didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it. And I would argue that I've helped her out a hell of a lot more than she's helped me out because she didn't know what SEO was. She didn't have a Google profile. She didn't have anything, but she was still doing very well through referrals. But like I said, I mean, there's room for everybody, and she didn't have a problem with it, so we just went from there.
I mean, for sure, the market's huge. Businesses are closing also every day. So for every business that closes, another one opens. And it's nice that you had a family member in the space that not only taught you, but also was okay with you going and starting,
Of
petition
course, yeah, yeah.
in the same city. Anybody else in the family a business owner? I mean, like your aunt, that is the probably
Yeah.
best thing that you could have had doing the same exact business. Anybody else, parent, like when you were younger that you like saw?
So my grandfather was as well, my dad's father. He was since the time he was little, he had different bars, he had all types of businesses. However, I didn't really get to see like the day to day of his work life. I didn't really know like growing up what he really did until after he was gone. Me and my dad sat down, had conversations. We talk about it all the time, but other than my aunt, we don't really have too much history of business owners in our family. My father, however, he was a factory worker at Ford and he has real estate on the side. And I grew up going and collecting rent with him, doing work on houses with him. And then he also does like remodeling, residential remodeling on the side. He's since retired and I could argue he makes more from his side hustle now than he did working at Ford. So
My dad,
I think I
same
get
thing.
most of it from him.
You learned most of that from your dad?
Yeah, the hustle aspect and, like, the entrepreneurial spirit, but
My dad, same thing. Real estate for 35 plus years, but always did, residential flips on the side, had apartment buildings that he rented. And same thing as a kid, I'd go with to a new place, help him demo with a little hammer, breaking apart
yeah,
kitchen cabinets and tile and sinks and stuff like that. And it's fun looking back and remembering that,
it was.
kind of being like, I kind of want to do this when I grow up, you know?
It's definitely fun looking back at it, but in the heat of the moment, you already know it wasn't it's not fun. It was hard, but it was a lesson for sure, and it teaches you
Absolutely.
looking back on it. Maybe that's what gives you energy to keep going today.
For sure. So you graduated with a degree in economics,
Yes.
and then you went into investment. After the Invesco, you joined up with your aunt, helped her with her cleaning service, and then you started yours. So when did you first start? Was it Scrubblue? Is that the business
Yeah.
that you have now?
Yep. So the name of our company is Scrub Blue. I'm the sole owner. After Invesco, I actually got laid off from Invesco after doing like all annual reporting and stuff. And I had just bought my house. So we remodeled my house. And then I was like, hopefully my job doesn't fire me. Literally the next day, I walk into work and I'm laid off. So I had
Next
0
day.
money. Yeah, I'd had 0 money to my name. I was like, I need to make money like yesterday. So the only thing I could think of too was I was sitting at my desk every single day thinking about starting something of my own. And the only thing that could register in my head at the time, because it's in the heat of the moment, was cleaning. And so what I did is I went and got a bartending job because I did that throughout college just to pay for my mortgage and pay my car note and stuff like that. Other than that, I was trying to get clients on the side to clean their houses. So I sort of started from the ground up. Like I was cleaning myself, and then we sort of switched to this hybrid model, which we have now. It's like half remote, half in person. from an owner aspect.
So, inspiration, my next question was going to be what inspired you to start it? You needed to. You had a
Yeah,
fire under your ass to, you just bought this new place, you're remodeling it, and now the money stopped.
100%. I've spent every single dollar I had um, remodeling the house. I wouldn't say it was like a uh, grand remodel. It was just like putting new floors in, putting new cabinets, and
Facelift.
yeah, just like a facelift. And then right after that little facelift, immediately got let go, which hurt at the moment. But I mean, that's why they say everything happens for a reason, because it truly does. And when stuff happens to friends and family, sort of like what happened to me, I think I could help them a little bit more than I could before, because it's happened to me and I've started something different. And I mean, I think it's going pretty good so far.
Business owner, you got time. If you were working for Invesco, you probably had dog crap hours that you had to
Yeah.
work and had so many people to answer to. But now that you're the boss and let's say somebody needs help, you can drop whatever you're doing to help them.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was working, I mean, it's more of, they call it a 9 to 5, but we were in there from like 8 a.m. to a competition as to who can leave the latest. I mean, you don't want to be the one that walks out at 5 p.m. But that's the thing today is like we're still trying to build out the office of Scrub Blue and stuff. We have some virtual workers that work with us, and they're amazing. But we're just working to get that aspect of the business out of the way. Which right now I'm working probably the same hours as I was over at Invesco. However, I'm doing it out of the comfort of my home. So if I want to go get a drink, if I want to go use the bathroom, if I want to go to the gas station, if I want to go for a quick walk, I could do so. Whereas with that, it was, you know how it is.
Absolutely, especially in the finance world. They are very particular with the way things are done and the way time is managed. When you started, how much do you remember how much you invested to get off the ground?
Yes, that brings me back a little is when I first started, like I said, I had like no money. Well, out of what I was saving after bartending, which was only a couple $100 after paying all my bills, I took all that. I think it was around 800 to 1,000. However, I was buying all the cleaning supplies because like I said, I was cleaning myself. So I had to get a vacuum, which was like 200. I had to get a mop, all the products, back stock of products, and I think it was around 800 to 1,000. That got me my website, all the supplies and equipment, and then I think we had an LSA account that we spent, like, anywhere from 20 to $50 per lead. I would say if you wanted to start yourself, I mean, $1,000 is all you need. On 1,000 and under, you could start with probably $100 nowadays with the remote model.
Absolutely. I've heard people doing it for about $200. Get the website, get booking quala for $57, hire a person that's already got the supplies and go. Just
Yep.
hit some Facebook groups for free, some relatives or flyers, and you're good to go. What have been some of the biggest challenges that you've gone through with being an owner operator in the beginning, going out and doing the cleans, especially?
So that's the thing. When I first started, I had no idea about like the remote model. I didn't know what booking quala was. I didn't know what a CRM was. So all this, like you said, it lit a fire under my ass too. I basically stayed up till like 2 a.m. every single day after cleaning, trying to figure out like what CRM should we use? Like how do people book? I was doing everything from Google Sheets. I would put in all my clients' names, all their information. I used Google Calendars to schedule them, and then Google Calendars would fail. I would look and a booking wouldn't be there, just wouldn't go. So,
And how long again did you start? How long ago?
so we started like 2 years ago on the dot. However, we weren't really operating until a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So it's moved very, very, very fast. But I started with the Google products, the Google Sheets, Google Docs, um, the calendar. That's how I ran my business for like the first 4, 5 months. But we moved pretty fast. I moved to Jobber, and then with Jobber, I wasn't too satisfied. It felt disorganized. And then that's when I created like a Twitter account and started networking with other business owners. And I selected like a handful of people from Twitter and I would ask them the dumbest questions they've ever heard. But they're the reason I'm here today. And I even made a tweet about this last week is I wouldn't be here without them because I would ask them the dumbest questions on a daily basis. They would help me out, meet with me. And basically that's how I learned like what booking quality was, for example. And that's what got me. I took everything from Jobber at the time, which we didn't have many clients, but we easily transferred it over using your all's like customer support and stuff. And then from there, scheduling was a breeze. Everything was a breeze from there. That took out probably 2 hours a day, 2 hours out of my time per day. The scheduling on Google Calendars is astronomical. From there, basically, other than that, my time consisted of cleaning, quite literally.
So, how long before you stopped cleaning yourself?
So I stopped cleaning, I would say about a year ago. I want to say a year ago and a couple months, but I haven't picked up a product or done anything in about a year and a couple months. Yeah.
So, right around probably the time where you switched to Booking
Yeah.
Koala.
Because that's when I was meeting with people asking these questions. I didn't know what contractors were or how to report. I didn't know anything. I didn't know like all the aspects of having a 1099 worker. Like you can't give them uniform, you can't treat them like an employee, you can't train them, so on and so forth. Then it comes down to how do you find 1099s? What's the difference and what does the margins look like versus a W-2 employee? So that's all the stuff I started learning after we got booking Koala, after I started finding artists. That's sort of how it all came into play. But booking Koala is what really set it off and allowed me to learn a lot quicker than I was before.
You just mentioned that Twitter account with those guys and or guys and girls that you've been, learning from. Do you want to give any of them a shout out? Anyone you want to call out by name?
Now, I've given them shout outs, but I'll give PJ a shout out. You all did
Yep.
a video with PJ. I'll give Max Arnold with Clean Genie a shout out. Those two are really the ones that helped me the most. PJ was more or less like watching from an outsider's perspective and how he ran his business. Max was like more of like the day to day helping me out, asking some pretty stupid questions. He helped me out
Awesome.
a good
Well,
a good bit amount.
shout out to PJ and Max for getting you to where you are today and keeping the ball rolling. There's a lot of gurus out there, but it's the day-to-day business owners that are just helping other people start their own business without asking anything in return. Those are the people those are great people. They deserve the biggest shout outs for sure. Well, you mentioned Deep Blue. You have your aunt. How are you different than those two cleaning services? Those are your direct competitors. How are you different from them?
So, I mean, we're different because we're so on top of absolutely everything. That's the biggest thing with us. You could call us at 12 a.m., we'll answer. You could call us at 3 a.m., we'll answer. And if you need a cleaning in 30 minutes, you could get a cleaning in 30 minutes. Not only that, the quality's there and everything. We have a pretty rigorous like quality check process. All of our cleaners are extremely vetted. Everybody knows exactly what to expect, what to do. We have checklists in place for absolutely everybody. And not only that, like I said, I'm still available to speak to clients and I try to give every single one of them a call when we onboard them as a client. I'll give them a call randomly after one of their bookings, make sure everything's going well. Not only that, we have the potential to do like big jobs. Like, for example, I just got back from a walkthrough right before this for a um, 11,000 square feet post construction clean. So we're a full service cleaning company. There's nothing we can't do. And like I said, the quality's there and we guarantee that the quality's there. If it's not good, we'll come back same day or next day.
Love that. Before switching from your Google everything to Jobber, then to us, I'm sure time management was ridiculously hard.
Oh,
How
yes.
has it been now with using Booking Koala? How are you prioritizing your time and managing it as a business owner that's also not that stepped away from doing the cleanings as well?
So booking quality has taken out a huge chunk of time. I mean, with booking quality, you already know you work you work with them and stuff. Booking quality, as far as like scheduling goes, coordinating with cleaners and clients, seeing when everybody's available, that alone takes out an incredible amount of time. You could just drag and drop a booking onto a cleaner schedule, ask if everything's all right with their schedule, and that's it. You have all the notes that they could possibly need that reflect to every single booking. The payments section, you can see how much they're getting paid each week. Like it's crazy how much time it takes out of your day to day. And that paired with a good process on the back end, I mean, we're all good to go.
Oh yeah. So now you mentioned you're building out your office. What's your leadership style then with your contractors and everybody else in the office?
So my leadership style, I try to treat everybody as if they are me. So like when we hire virtual assistants, for example, we don't just hire a virtual assistant. It's sort of like they're going to be a part of the team. They're going to be sharing their thoughts. We're not asking them, or we don't expect them to just be like a step under us. Like they're on the same level as us. So all of our virtual assistants have the same say in a certain scenario that takes place. We have the same conversations as me and you would if you would be working with me. If you were the co-owner of my business, we'd be having the same conversations as we would with anything. So if there's like a problem with the clean, we talk about it like person to person rather than me telling them what to do. They have a say in stuff. And that way, I mean, they care about the company like it as if it's their own, right? So I find like treating everybody like they are me helps us out a lot and just making sure everybody has processes in place to succeed, first of all. So outlining like what everybody's responsible for. But like I said, just treat everybody as if they're you and everything should be good.
If everyone is treated like the owner and not like the bottom of the ring, you're going to see big improvements and not even improvements. If you start that day one, then you're going to have some of the best employees and workers, and it's just going to be saving so many headaches and time and just overall a lot better experience for everybody, especially translating into the customers and the work that's being done for them. Setbacks, failures, how are you handling that?
So we actually just had the biggest setback of the business since I started, which was at the start of August. I woke up one day, two of our cleaners left because they were moving, which was expected, and we were working on replacing them. And then I would say like half of our cleaning staff completely like disappeared. Two of them stole clients from us, three others just completely. They all left for various reasons, but I was sitting there thinking, I was like, what did I do? Did I do anything first of all? So I talked with like the cleaners that we still had, everything checked out on our end. We remain organized. We remain kind to everybody that's still working with us. So then I checked in with the people that were moving that are no longer with us, which they have their own reasons. They're moving to like Tennessee, Nashville, for example. I spoke with them, asked them if they had what their pros and cons to working with us were. We pay very, very well, but we also expect, we only send them to one or two houses per day. That way they could focus on those houses and we don't want them to be overworked, underpaid. We want to appreciate them as well as our clients. So I couldn't really see why someone would leave and just take clients with them. But that was the biggest setback we've had. We lost half of our cleaning staff and we lost about 10, 12 clients. So it
All
was
within the matter of what, a
like
couple
2
days?
days, 2 days. Yeah.
So two moved, three left, and a couple also took jobs, took contracts away
Yeah,
from you.
so they took contracts away from us, which, um, I mean, there's nothing I could do about it now. It's just head down, figure out the proper steps to get new cleaners and, um, we'll replace the clients. It's fine. We don't want clients like that anyways. I mean, I was completely honest with every single one of our clients. I stepped in a little more than I needed to. Everybody in the office, it's me, Alex, or me, Kyle, and Zelda. We all put our heads down and worked day to day. We all worked extra hours. We had 800 applicants in the matter of 5 days. I went on um, Indeed, put the max amount you could spend per day. We had like
Holy
800
crap.
applicants, and we only hired three people out of 800 people. from Indeed. And then we hit all the Facebook groups. And so now we got all the cleaners back. We're all back on track, but it took an entire month to get back to where we were a month ago. And that's when they say like growth isn't linear at all. So during that moment, I was like, I'm grateful for what I have and what it has been up to this point. This is just like a stepping stone to get to the next step. This might be a dip, but it's just up from here. Like there's nothing that could be worse than this, honestly. But that was a huge learning experience and it really tested the strength of our team and our current cleaners. Everybody made sacrifices. Our cleaners worked more than they have previously. Our office members worked harder than they have previously. So I'm very grateful for absolutely everybody on our team, and we made it through the one of the hardest stretches throughout the business. And I mean, couldn't be more
Wow.
grateful for everybody.
I mean, props to you because a business under 2 years old that takes a hit like that to rebound in a month, you deserve big props. You and everybody else that worked on that.
Yeah, I couldn't do it without him though. There's no way I would be able to do that by myself. And we worked day in and day out to get it back to where it was a month ago. But I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, you said a lot there that takes, a lot to unpack. 800 applicants in 5 days, and you only end up hiring three. You think that you just got random ass people applying just to apply? Or did you think
So
everybody was at least somewhat qualified, just not good enough for your company?
that's the thing with hiring in this business is it's very hard. It's the hardest part of the business, I would say. I mean, trying to find the right cleaners that are a good fit for your cleaning company is by far the hardest part. I mean, that just goes to show you 800 people applied in the matter of 5 days. It took us a week to hire three of them. There's a lot of experience with like or a lot of the applicants have experience with like housekeeping in hotels, offices, janitorial cell cleaning, but we're solely looking for people that have worked in residential cleaning, that have been like a professional house cleaner before, or at least like an Airbnb cleaner, because Airbnb is a little more detailed than your typical like standard clean residential. But I would say a quarter of those had like the professional house cleaning experience. And then my team and I, we went through the quarter that did have experience and asked them a ton of questions, had about 2 interview rounds, and then we had like a test trial. And then we put them on a clean with another contractor and see how they paired and got feedback from the other contractor. But out of the people we did hire, I mean, they're absolutely game changer. They're better than the cleaners we had before. Not to say that they're not to discount their work at all, but everything goes back to my main point, like, everything happens for a reason. We're stronger than we were before, and now we have sort of like a outline for what to do in this case. If I were to step out of the business a little more, I think our team would be 100% prepared for it. Because hiring doesn't s from now on, hiring doesn't stop. Like, actually, we're not gonna stop hiring at this point.
Two things in this business, and honestly, I would assume any service business, you never stop hiring and you never stop marketing. You stop marketing, you have too many workers, not enough jobs, you stop hiring, keep the marketing going, now you have too many jobs and not enough workers. Those two go hand in hand, you never turn either of them off. So after a month like that, how how are you staying motivated and keeping your drive up?
So that's the biggest thing for me right now, and I mean, if you were to take a look at like my ex account, for example, I work a ton, and it's because we're still in the first, I want to say like 2 years of operating. So I mean, I work day in and day out still to this day, but I'm also trying to build processes for our office members. I'm trying to build processes for our cleaners. The what ifs. I'm recording Loom videos day in and day out of how to do sales, how to hire, how to schedule on Booking Koala, how to assign cleaners, how to do payroll, so on and so forth. That way there's no questions asked. I'm trying to build like a blueprint for how to work efficiently and do everything correctly. That way everything can run smoothly from the back end of the business. But I will say the day to day in terms of like cleaning, the operational aspect in terms of going to a client's house, making sure the clean's good, all that is perfect. which I'm very grateful for because it takes out a big portion of our time. We don't really have to worry about it too much. Our cleaners are very responsive. All of our clients love our cleaners. So it's more or less me working on the back end rather than like the front lines.
It's hard for sure to keep that drive up, especially when you're working that much. At least you know in the back of your mind that every minute that you're putting in, creating those SOPs, the Loom videos, everything that you're putting together now is so that in a year, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you could step away and be like, I'm on this 2 hours a week or 30 minutes a day, however you want to look at it or do it. And you know that nothing goes down when you step away and you're building up for your freedom to do whatever the hell you want.
You're 100% right. And I'm more focused on quality over quantity. Like you see with a lot of these business gurus, stretch way too far, even though their main location that they started from the ground up and learned everything from isn't 100% bulletproof. I could guarantee you could step in there and find flaws in every aspect of their business. However, I'm very, very, very focused on making this location 10%. That way we could replicate this model and this business, copy and paste it in another location. And then from there, the hiring takes place, the scheduling takes place, all the marketing is figured out already, and it's operational from day one. It doesn't have to be built like this one was.
120% is I mean I couldn't have said it better. The gurus, some of them I've seen grow fairly quickly. You can call it luck in whatever location and business they picked, or they grinded behind the scenes and they did it super, super fast. And now they're like, well, I could sell courses. I can do less work for more money and automate it, run some ads. And just like you said, you can go into that business, probably spend less than 20 minutes and pick out so many flaws that if one thread was pulled out, that location would topple. And what you're doing is exactly what I would tell anybody to do before they're thinking about going into another location. If you haven't spent weeks or months going over your business and seeing where you can increase revenue or fix, your procedures or this or that, if you can't do anything else at that location, then you're ready to move on.
Exactly. And like I said, you don't even know what could happen till it's happened. Like I didn't ever think in my entire time working on this business that was ever going to happen where all my cleaners left. They took clients with them. We lost 10 clients, 6, 7 cleaners. Like you could never really prepare for that. But now that we have like our SOPs in case that happens again, every location that we open and the office members in that location are going to know how to operate. They'll have resources to go back and see what do we do in this scenario while staying organized with the current cleans we have on schedule. We had it was crazy. We had to unassign all those bookings. I was looking at the schedule, it was blue. The next 2 days were like blue, blue, and then like 2 blues on each day, and it's just all red or all pink, meaning unassigned. So we had to not only find cleaners, but find out how we're going to clean the cleans that we already have on our schedule while there's still people calling us. I mean, the volume was still there in terms of marketing. Our SEO's very well laid out. So we were still getting calls for post construction, move out cleans, deep cleans. I was still taking them and we still had to figure it out. But like you said, it could be a single thread that you remove from a business and it could go crumbling. So I could guarantee you if you were to find a guru that has 5 locations, if that were to happen at one of their locations, they'd be too busy working on their other 4 locations while this one's over here crumbling. Whereas my plan is to have this one 110%, have the next one 110%, so on and so forth. That way, if something were to happen at another location, I wouldn't even have to think about it. I already know that they're gonna figure it out and it's gonna be figured out well.
So you safe to say that this was the most important lesson that you've learned in all the time that you've been a business owner. What happened in August?
Up until this point, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, our numbers were still very, very good. In August, surprisingly, we only lost I say lost, but July was sort of like an overstep month. It was like heat of the summer, most bookings we've ever had. And then August, you would think it'd be a huge drawback, but I mean, we only drew back like $3,000 in revenue somehow.
It's not horrible for
Yeah,
the big hit.
yeah, it's crazy, but we made
So
it through.
yeah, I mean, you're still chugging along. You know exactly what you need to do with these SOPs and strengthening everything. We've been on kind of the topic of hiring. So you said you had a mixture of employees and contractors. So I'm assuming your contractors are the work, doing the cleanings, and your employees are the office staff.
So we technically don't even have one employee. Like with our VAs and stuff, they have their own special, I forget what it's called. They have their own document that they sign for tax purposes, but technically we don't have any W-2s. So we only work with contractors.
How many do you have in total? Let's start with just the ones doing the work, the cleanings.
I think we're at around 13, I would say. And in the office, we have about two,
Okay.
but it's like a virtual office per se.
And you're building one out close to home, I'm assuming.
So we're not quite there yet. Like I said, I want to make sure this one is 110% and then we could open up another location. But right now I'm like sort of sourcing where that location will be. And yes, we're like I said, targeting the Midwest smaller cities or the southern smaller cities, but also looking at suburbs of bigger cities as well. So we're not
What
not
about the office? Because you mentioned that you were building an office. Are you?
So when I say I'm building an office, I mean like we're building out the virtual office. So like we're
I
looking
see.
for more virtual assistants. We're looking for like we're building out the SOPs, we're building out the processes for our staff and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
that's
So
what I
you're
mean,
not
like building out an
building out a
office.
physical office
Yeah.
space. You're not going to have anybody going there. It's just the
No.
everybody working behind the scenes.
So that's why I say it's sort of like a hybrid model because I still do walkthroughs like for big jobs, apartment complexes, big post construction jobs. I'm the one that does like the walkthroughs for it. And that's the hardest part is how do you price a 1,000 square foot post construction job virtually? You're good luck trying to tell the project manager to send you 50 photos of the house, right?
Right.
But
Uh, yeah,
we're almost there.
there's certain aspects that if you're willing to do it for your business, take those bigger jobs. I mean, you could potentially price per square foot, but even then, it's dicey because you can have an 10 by 10 room that's a hoarder house filled from the floor to the ceiling with crap. And you're going to end up pricing it the same as somebody who has a 10 by 10 room who needs vacuuming and,
Exactly.
some light dusting and the bed made.
Exactly, and you don't wanna send your cleaner over there, them thinking that it's gonna be, like, an easy clean, and then they walk in, it's like a hoarding situation either. So, like, what's your processes in that scenario? Because if you send your cleaner there, then they're gonna be asking for gas money or the cancellation fee or something like that. So, how do we avoid those situations? What's it look like in talks with, like, the client, so on and so forth. So, we wanna make sure, like, down to the wire, everything is figured out and outlined and that everybody knows each and every process.
And you're hiring, where do you focus mainly? I know you mentioned Indeed earlier. Is that the only place or do you do it elsewhere?
So our big three is Facebook groups and just organic Facebook. And then we look for Indeed applicants. We put out job postings there. And then we have referrals, which is a big one. We ask our cleaners, do they know anybody? And then we offer them like sort of a bonus after they've been with us for like a month or two. So those are our big three.
Do you utilize the hiring portion inside your Book and Koala account?
So I do not, and to be honest, I'm a little behind on booking Koala. Like it's very well built out. If you looked at our booking form on our website and everything, it's very well put together and built out. It's just like like we still have the basic account and I do want to utilize like the leads aspect and the hiring aspect and stuff like that. Just haven't got around to it, but definitely in the works getting that all set up and figured out. But everything else we utilize in terms of booking quote.
With applications, what's going to be an automatic red flag for you on a job application?
So obviously, if they don't have any cleaning experience, it's immediate no. Just because we're looking for contractors, maybe if they were employees and we had a team that they could work on, then we might consider them. Because people can be taught to clean. It's just we cannot legally train a contractor how to clean. There's probably some loopholes around it, but I don't even want to bother. So if they don't have cleaning experience, unfortunately, we're not looking to hire them. If they do have housekeeping if they have housekeeping experience, sometimes we'll give them the chance to, like, go through the interview process and, um, like, go do test cleanings and see sort of what their skill level is in terms of cleaning. But that's more or less like when we're a little slower on the hiring aspects. Back when we had 800 applicants, we didn't have time to talk to people that had housekeeping experience. We are looking for people that had house cleaning experience. But other than that, we look for those that have house cleaning experience. You have your own supplies, your own equipment, and then obviously we speak with them in regards to like expectations. We're not technically telling them what to do. We're telling them what our clients expect, and we give them like the onboarding process and stuff like that. But I say we have like a three-stage interview process with us. It's the first interview, which is just a quick phone interview. And then we have a second phone interview, but it's with me and Kyle, which he's another decision maker I work with. And then from there, we do a test cleaning. If the test cleaning goes well, four stages, then we pair them in the booking quality app with another cleaner, and then they work together on like a deep clean, a regular clean, a move in, move out clean, post construction. So we put them through the whole process, and then based off that and the feedback we get from the other contractor, that's when we know if someone's going to stay with us and if they're a good fit.
It's a good way to do it, especially when, you hit the nail on the head. You can't tell them exactly what to do. And when you're hiring contractors, you can't have them wear your company clothing. You can't make them. You can offer it, but even then that gets kind of dicey.
Yeah.
It's it's hard. It's definitely hard when you're hiring and onboarding, but once you get through that and they're rolling along with their own cleans, it's a good feeling. The other side to this business, marketing. What are you currently doing for your marketing?
So in terms of marketing, the good thing about the smaller Midwest and smaller Southern cities is that word of mouth is crazy. The referrals you'll get pretty much carry a business over time. And we're just now getting to that point as we're getting a lot of referrals nowadays, which lets us dial back on some of the other paid pay-per lead sources that we get our leads from. But we have SEO, which are our SEO agency that we use. This guy's phenomenal. I think we're top 3 basically for every keyword, top 1 for a lot. Our SEO's dialed in. We have Google LSA. We use a little bit of Thumbtack and then Facebook groups and then Facebook ads. But I
What
would say our marketing spend is probably 4,000 a month. I'd say 4,000, 5,000.
all those things that you just listed, what would you say what was the most successful marketing campaign that you've done?
So we haven't really had any ultra successful like Facebook ad campaigns, or we don't run Google ads. We just have the local service ads. So from the get go, when we first started, we had LSA and it was phenomenal. We were getting a lot of leads per week, but nowadays we are lucky enough to get 2 or 3 per week. And with LSA, their intent is very high compared to someone that you're contacting through like a Facebook lead. With Facebook leads, it's more or less like getting our money back at this point. CEO is the real killer for us, and referrals is the real killer for us. Those do the best. And Thumbtack, believe it or not, in Louisville, does pretty well. Like I track absolutely everything. It does pretty well for it being Thumbtack. Our cost per lead isn't too high either, so we could eat. Well, people say it's like a race to the bottom in terms of price, but we haven't really had that issue. We don't really argue with them too much. If you're interested, we'll give you like the little sales rundown. But with Thumbtack, there are a lot of people that don't answer. And it's the same with what we've had experience with Facebook. The intent is just not there compared to like Google. And I've yet to do Google, like actual Google ads, but I'm sure we'll test those here soon once I get a
Surprising.
little more time.
With what you said about Thumbtack, it's not many cities at all that I've heard of that, I mean, they would be completely out of business if it didn't work,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, I mean, I guess there has to be places that it does work, but for you to say that you actually have gotten, leads and turned them into
Yeah,
clients from there is, I don't want to say surprising, but it's a little a little shocking just because everybody that I've talked to, especially in the major metropolitan areas, they, like you said, race to the bottom for price.
exactly.
And
And
it's
that is
those
the
price
case with
shoppers.
I would say like half of them are like that, but the cost per lead is average like $25, and we've gotten our biggest cleans from Thumbtack, believe it or not. But where we get most of our leads, we're in all the like neighborhood group chats. We're on Nextdoor app, and what's kind of crazy is Thumbtack and Nextdoor sort of merged in a way. I think they partnered. So on Nextdoor, if you were to look up house cleaning in Louisville, we're the number one that pops up because we're the most recommended on Thumbtack now. So we're on Thumbtack. We post on the neighborhood group chats on there. We have the same type of scenario with Facebook groups. We're in all the local groups, responding to people, giving recommendations and stuff. But other than that, it's mainly SEO and more of the free stuff that sort of works out for us the best.
That's the best word you could say. Free for marketing. I mean, nothing is truly free unless it's a referral, but CO is king. And it's always, I mean, it's been that way and it'll continue to be one of the top three, if not number one, I would say. Something that a business should work on for marketing strategies. Absolutely. Going on to, partnerships with other businesses. I'm not thinking, your aunt or Deep Blue, but what about, I know realtors are a big hit, or other moving services, stuff like that. Do you have any partnerships like that?
So we're partnered with a bunch of construction companies, believe it or not. So we have a lot of post construction jobs, which are high ticket. We have move in, move out cleans that are also high ticket. But I say my best to stay away from the realtors. Always, always, always a race to a bottom with them. I cannot stand it at all. They're cheaper than most of our clients from Thumbtack, so I try to stay away. But other than that, like property managers, I'll talk to. Uh, construction companies like residential construction, or remodeling companies I'll talk to, and then Airbnb owners as well. And Airbnb can be a little bit dicey. If it's like a one bed, one bath home and it's like 700 square feet, that's the first question I ask them is how many Airbnbs do you have and what are the size of them? Because we might not even work out for you. So I try to be as straightforward and honest as possible up front, that way it allows for a conversation after if they do have something that's worth us looking at, sort of. With Airbnb, we have pretty big clients. Our biggest client has 18 units. Our second biggest for Airbnb has 11 units. And the smallest one is two bed, two bath, 1,200.
Wow.
So we have a lot of Airbnb clients that guarantee reoccurring revenue. Granted, you don't know
When?
how often those are going to turn over per month, but it's sort of the same month to month. It dips sometimes, but with that many Airbnbs, it doesn't really matter. But the biggest thing I look for is reoccurring revenue. That's why Thumbtack doesn't always work out, is because the people on there are only looking for like move out or move in, move out cleans and deep cleans. And then that's the problem with like the construction companies and the project man or the property managers is they're just looking for those one-time cleans, but they do give you more and more cleans. It's just you don't ever know when they're going to reach out.
Definitely. Money side of things, revenue started 2 years ago. How much revenue have you done since you started?
I'm going to pull up booking follow real quick
Sure.
just so I know because I'll give you the on the dot answer. So January of 2025, I'll run the numbers for that.
So
I
that's
think,
this year.
yeah.
Today's September.
So in January, and we've only been on our, booking quality only goes back so far, so that's why I'm giving you January. But January, for example, our total revenue was 2,800. And July, which was our biggest month, last month wasn't too far behind as we talked about, but let's see here. That's a good thing about booking qual though. You could run your reports really quickly, see all like the key KPIs and stuff. January was the 42,000 and July 2025 was 83,334 and 60 cents. So we've nearly doubled in the course of what is that like 6, 7 months.
6, 7 months, you've doubled. And that's, you did 42,000 alone in the month of January. And then you did almost 84,000, 85,000 the month of July. Had the little dip in August because of
Yeah.
the several people leaving and taking some clients with, but you're back on track. So, what have you done to date from July till now? Or January to now, sorry.
Let me see real quick to date. So January to today, September 5th, 2025, we have done 508,000 so far.
Killer. And you're 2 years in.
Yeah. So we're on our second year or year and a half. I don't even know what you'd say, but to date, January to September, we're at the 508,813 and 9 cents. Is 205,000 and one time is 242,000, and that's what I see, that's sort of a pattern, it's like it'll be 50-50. From especially from when you're first starting, I'd shoot for, like if I'm doing 2,000 a month in reoccurring revenue, I'd expect at least 2,000 in one-time revenue, and it's been the pattern since we first started. Over time, your reoccurring will be more than your one-time, it's just how it is from the beginning. And it's important to always reach out to your one time clients, always ask for a review, always get feedback from them, and then pitch them on like the reoccurring service and offer a discount for that.
So I just want to paint a picture for, I got everything running in my head from what we talked about in the last hour. You've got one location in Louisville, not a huge metropolitan area. It's bigger tourist for sure. Um, 13 contractors with 2 office staff. You're on your second year in, and you're starting the ninth month of the year at already over $500,000 in revenue
Yeah, so far. I'm
so far.
shooting for a million next year, hopefully.
What would you say you're on track to hit by the end of this year?
I don't know. I was thinking about that earlier and I did have a conversation with our CPA. I honestly forget what he said, but
I'd say you'd be
for November,
damn
December, so
close to hitting
3 months.
750.
Yeah, let's do the math real quick. I would say 750, 800 maybe, hopefully, which
Jeez.
our margins
Wow.
are pretty good too. They're at 30%, so if we did 800, be looking at like 240 net profit. That's after paying myself and paying everybody, all our expenses, everything.
Marketing, everything.
Yes.
Man, holy shit.
Dude,
Dude,
it
dude.
sounds easy, but dude, like, I mean, if you look at my Twitter and go through it, you could see I've I've
I have.
documented every step of the process.
I know you are active on there. You clearly, if you're not sleeping much, to hit
No, I'm
that,
not.
to hit those numbers in your location in such a short amount of time. And let's not forget the fact that your first your first 6 months you were doing shit on Google Calendar, Google Docs, Google Sheets to keep addresses. So you've done 3 software changes in that 2 year span.
Yeah.
You had to learn 3 new softwares.
I've gone through a lot. I've had 3 di 3 different SEO agencies. I've had 3 different softwares. I've had 3 different accountants, but we found the best fit for all of them. I think we're just now, like, actually getting started in my mind.
You're now just getting started. Now,
Think think so.
you
We
think
just got I mean, booking qual is figured out. We got a killer CPA bookkeeper. We have a killer SEO team. I think, like, now,
you
as
want to
of
shout those
August
guys out? Go ahead.
no, I don't want to right now.
Okay.
I wanna keep it a secret.
Keep it for yourself. Keep that growth going.
Yeah. I'll give my CPA a shout out. His name's Brad Nelson. He's with Striker Finance.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good if y'all need help. That's the problem I had last year with my CPA is all my sales tax stuff. I had to file an extension. It was a complete mess. Brad went in there with only a month to spare and figured out everything peak tax season and got me squared away right before the day before I had to pay everything. So we got everything figured out, and then we have a portal which I could see all of my reporting for each month. So that's all automated. My SEO is taken care of. All the hard stuff in my mind is taken care of. I'm not doing it, letting the teams figure it out on their own, paying them for it. But that allows us to focus on the day to day and our operations.
Well, you know your next stop is now. You're a guru.
No, no. I just got in an argument with someone about that. I'm not gonna be that guy, promise you. I just wanna lay low and work.
Kill in silence.
Yeah, basically. And dude, what's even crazier than that, met with someone last week, and I know my aunt makes a lot of money, like a lot more than me or a lot more than us. I just met someone last week in Louisville, residential house cleaning, no offices, no janitorial, nothing like that. That's doing 240,000 per month.
Per month.
You could Google them, you'll never find out who it is. Like you could Google their name and they wouldn't even pop up.
Are they doing Airbnb?
I mean, they're doing Airbnb. They're doing like Airbnbs in residential houses. Dude, it's
Okay.
crazy. So that I mean, I've got a couple locations in mind for my next step, but I'm trying to look for something sort of similar to Louisville, smaller in size, but has good culture, good food, a good place to visit. Believe it or not, Louisville is like the hub for like sales conferences, and we have Louder Than Life. We have Bourbon and Beyond, which are I think Louder Than Life is like one of the biggest metal festivals in the nation, and it's in Louisville, and it's I think it's next week or the week after, and then there's Bourbon and Beyond, which is like a country festival, and then we have the Kentucky Derby. So all those types of things bring people in. That's why Airbnbs are so successful here. That's why
You
it's
also have the
almost a
Bourbon Trail. You have
yeah, we have
all
the
the
Bourbon
bourbon
Trail.
distilleries.
Exactly, and we have for some reason, we have a lot of sales conferences here, which take up like the Kentucky Fairgrounds. We have, another one downtown that's an expo center. That brings a lot of foot traffic into Louisville. That's why Airbnb is so successful here. That's why the cleaning for Airbnbs is so successful. I'm looking to sort of replicate that in another city, hopefully.
You got me speechless, my man. I mean, holy crap. I've interviewed a lot of people, and to get this, basically what you've gone through and hit those numbers in that time frame, damn.
It wasn't easy, dude. I work like
Can't imagine that it was.
I can't even see straight. Let's put it that way.
When's the break? When are you taking a mental break? When are you,
So, dude,
celebrating this success? Because this needs to be celebrated.
so this is my plan for now. I actually just paid someone a pretty good chunk of money to sort of step in and help me build out all the automations for which they connect with through Zapier, Airtable, and some other stuff mixed with Booking Koala, Open Phone. That's sort of like our tech stack. And then everything's going to be automated. So if a new booking gets made, they get a text. Our cleaners are on the way, so on and so forth. All that's taken care of. We're rewriting like all our SOPs, our structure for the cleaners in the office. Everything should sort of be automated and delegated. We've been working for the past 2, 3 months. And I hope by the end of this year, I'll only be checking in at that point to make sure everything's perfect. But that's the goal. Obviously, I'll probably spend some more time just making sure everything's going well because I do like doing sales, but then it's time to copy and paste in another location. So I'm hoping by January we could get the location will be already picked out and then we could get the ball rolling in that city.
Ask, but you said you had a couple in mind. You're probably not going to share.
No, I'm not. But I could tell you it's gonna be really good, if not like 2 times better than Louisville. I have a
Okay.
really good location picked out. I'll
Hell
text it
yeah.
to you.
I'm excited, dude. You got me fired up. Like,
There's a couple things I still don't know yet. So my biggest thing, the biggest problem I have is stuff within the office, like automation, for example, and delegation. I have a hard time finding time to train like our VAs and stuff like that. So that's where I'm looking for like that higher level person that I'm willing to pay for. when you go to find a mentor per se, like for people just starting out, you don't necessarily need a mentor. You need to find places to where you can meet people that are currently running cleaning companies, whether it's a W-2 model or a remote model. In our case, this one's a hybrid model, but the next one will probably be a remote model. Find someone that's like you, find someone that's in the same stage as you, find someone that's the next step up, and then find someone that's already there. And then ask them the dumbest questions on a day-to-day basis. They'll help you out as much as possible. I would even help people out if they texted me, but you don't necessarily need a mentor to start, but I'd definitely recommend at least getting a mentor somewhere along your journey. That way you could better your processes. That way you could get to that next level. So I'm at that
For
stage
sure.
where I'm looking for help to automate and delegate to get to that next level to open up another location.
Maybe somebody who's going to watch this interview will might be that person and they might reach out to you.
Yeah, feel free. Always available.
Awesome. Where do you, I mean, you kind of already answered. Where do you see the business in 5 to 10 years? Where do you want to be?
To be honest, I'm not too sure I want to be in the house cleaning business forever. I will always own this location, hopefully. This was my baby. I built it myself. But I want this location to be sort of like janitorial, absolutely everything. I want to do commercial cleaning. I want to do residential cleaning. I want to build this one out to be like Louisville's biggest house cleaning, janitorial cleaning company. But obviously, it's going to be harder on the commercial side. But then hopefully, we have at least 2 to 4 locations and then everything's just coasting. But I'd like to learn about some other opportunities as well. Like to get into some real estate and just pair that with the cleaning business.
And if it's printing money like this and you can get it on autopilot where you step away, there'd be no point in selling it, you know? And especially if it's
Exactly.
maintaining and growing, just put the money into another stream, you know, like you said, real estate, something else, rinse and repeat and keep going.
That's the plan. Hopefully, it'll all work out, but we'll see.
On to the final section. But before we get to Booking Koala and the software, I do got to say there are gurus out there that are nowhere near or have never gotten near to your numbers in the short amount of time that you have as well. So that just solidifies how great you're doing and to keep going.
That also shows how good of a help you all are, though. I mean, you could scale to the moon with Booking Koala. I mean, the bookings, the leads, seeing the profiles for each customer, seeing the profiles for each provider. You could leave notes on each provider. That way, whoever's scheduling them could see, like, oh, this is a solo cleaner. She does good on deep cleans. She does good on move in, move out cleans. It keeps everything organized. That way, you could scale. And I'd love to see, like, having another location in Booking Koala, how that would work, but I think it'd work perfect in my opinion. But it gives you, like, good KPIs. You see how many bookings, the revenue reoccurring in one time. Yeah, the payments to the independent contractors. It keeps everything straightforward to allow you to grow and build out an office, a virtual office, and allows everything to run smoothly for
Love
sure.
that. We love that you're loving it, and we love that we're a part of your tremendous growth. I mean, starting off, how big of a role does the tech play in your business ops?
So right now, I would say it's like 50-50. Like I said, we're getting to that point where everything's gonna play a huge role. But the tech ops, it can only get to a certain point, and once it gets to that point, it's straight delegation. So maybe we need 2, 3 VAs that are working together. And I say VAs, but they'd be an operations manager, we'll have a sales manager, we'll have so on and so forth. And they'll be working interchangeably to work on the tech stack and stuff like that. They'll have their day-to-day work that they take care of, and in their free time, maybe they'll test out the tech stack, they'll write SOPs, whatever the case may be.
I like
But
that. So you've been using Booking Koala essentially since January of this year.
I really don't even know. I'd have to go back and look. Maybe September or October or November, one of those months. But that's why I just
Late
gave you
last year, early
yeah.
this year, essentially. So what drew you into switching from Jobber to us, and how did you find us?
So to be honest, I knew of Booking Koala. I see people always asking like the Booking Koala community on Facebook and then the professional house cleaners community on Facebook, which CRM should I use? There was really only two options for me. I did look at I forget the name of it, like ZenMaid or something. I like set up a well, I had Jobber first. Jobber was good, but could only go so far, in my opinion. It wasn't really catered to house cleaning. While Jobber was good. I don't want to say anything bad about them. Was on to my next sort of tech that I look at, and I was looking at Booking Qual, and then I was looking at ZenMaid. Just like almost immediately, I logged into ZenMaid. I was like, "Yeah, this isn't going to work." And then I looked at Booking Koala, and it. I'll be honest, it scared me away at first because it is a little complex when you get into Booking Koala. But what I found is like if you have any questions, like how do I change the pricing parameters for this? And you just search that in Google and put booking qual at the end of it. I mean, there will be a step-by-step process how to do that. There will be a video there. And that's what lured me back in because it's with that and all the help online there is for booking koala. I mean, you could set it up in a day pretty well, but over the course of like a week, you could set it up to where it'll be bulletproof, all with the help of Google. I mean, if you have a problem with the provider's portion or the payment logs or something completely random, how to design your booking form, all you have to do is Google it, and the first link that'll pop up is a booking quala link that'll give you a step-by-step process.
From our help center.
Yep.
And with all that, you got set up fairly quickly, I would assume.
Yeah, I got set up, I would say over the course of a week, we're operational on booking qual in like a day or two. But as far as like the pricing parameters, obviously that's a little different from what I did before because I would just do like a walkthrough of the property. And based on time in my head, I'd be like, oh, this would be 175. However, what I like about booking quality, and it is hard to switch from that aspect to like pricing parameters, is you could lay out how much it is per square footage. In our case, it's like 1,000 to 1,500, 1,500 to 2,000, so on and so forth. You could price per bedroom, price per half bath, price per bathroom, price per basement. I mean, you can lay out a price for absolutely everything, and then that allows the customer to go on your booking page and sort of build out their own quote. Or it's easy enough for someone to give you a call. And then if you have someone that has to step in for the day, say the sales guy is sick, they could just hop on the phone, plug in how many bedrooms, bathrooms it is, and it shoots out a price for you. So there's no questions to it.
Simple and streamlined. Not simple to set up. I will say that, but it's robust for a reason so that, once you do have it set up, it's like you said, you can have somebody step in for a day and just follow the form and give you the information that the customer's looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, it isn't the simplest to set up, but that's a good thing. You don't want it to be too simple. And like I said, via the help center, step by step process for everything. The biggest thing with booking quality is the price. I mean, you absolutely can't beat it. I think for the price of their most premium version is what will get you somewhere else that gives the
Entry level.
same, yeah, like the entry level. So I mean, it's pretty robust for how much it costs. What is it, like 57, 60, 67, something
So
like
it's
that?
27. Currently, it's 27 for the starter plan. You get up to 5 providers, 57 for the growing plan, which is our most popular. That gets you up to 15 providers. And then the 197 plan gets you 50 providers.
So, I mean, that just goes to show you we've been spending I thought I was on the starter plan, but I guess I'm on the growing plan, which is only $57, and I'm fully operational doing 84,000 per month. I mean, it gets you to that point. I'd say next month we're gonna outgrow it, but I mean, it's long overdue. I need to upgrade to the next plan. We could afford it, no problem at this point. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
we look at
everything's
it
been
like
working
this.
great.
For the starter plan, it's less than $1 a day. For the growing plan, it's less than $2 a day. And the premium, I mean, let me do the math real quick. I think it's less than $7 a day or something like that. Yeah, less. It's like $6.57 a day for you to run your entire business.
Yeah, and that's completely worth it. I mean, if you're upgrading to that premium plan, I mean, you don't even have at that point, you don't even have to worry about the cost of it. And I mean, it would be completely awful if I had to take all my contacts, all my bookings, and put it over to something else. It'd be a mess.
Start all over again from the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
no.
We have a couple more questions. This one is newer for the last couple months. The outage that happened in March. How greatly did that affect you? You know, for me as one of the owners and co-founders of Booking Koala, again, it was a terrible time for everybody. We hated it for our customers. How was it for you navigating, especially being in the software less than 6 months and growing exponentially month over month, and then that hit?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty awful, but I mean, like I said, I went through a phase where we could even deliver to our own clients, right? We had cleaners quit, we had clients get stolen. It's a learning curve for you guys as well, and I'm sure you are 110% now compared to what you were then. So I saw it from like a standpoint of like a business owner. I knew you all were gonna get through it. I knew it was gonna be better when we got out. I hope it doesn't happen again. But during that time, it was very hard. But luckily, we had everything. I forget really what happened, but our VA downloaded like our bookings. That way we could see them. And then we just did it manually for like a week or two. But it did suck. But I mean, we're here now, past it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, as coming from business owners, everyone has lows. Growth isn't linear. We got through it. We know what to expect. I can't say it won't happen again because attacks happen all the time, even to publicly traded multi-billion-dollar companies, right?
Exactly.
We know how to approach it if it does happen. God forbid it does, and we move on day at a time. Going back, couple last questions, brighter note, what's the one feature in the software that you couldn't live without?
I mean, I think that's an easy question with me, just like the scheduling aspect. But other than that, what I love so much about it, maybe I do it differently from other people, but I'm looking at it right now. When you go to assign the cleaners, it has like the vertical view, it has the horizontal view, and that way you could see like what time each booking is at. It says the length of the time. You could set up the length of the time. You can see when the next cleaning is. If that cleaner calls out, you could get in there real quick and drag and drop it on another cleaner's schedule. I think that's the best thing for me, having that like dynamic view. And then also being able to see if what clients have paid, what clients haven't, and what bookings are assigned, which aren't. I think it just meshes very well with the provider side of everything. And then having your own provider app, that way they could clock in, clock out. It's very different from what I've seen for other booking platforms, that's for sure.
Flip side to that question now, what's something that you want to have, but we don't currently have?
Now this is a good one, and it'll help you out a lot if you do it. So, the only thing that I have a problem with from my day to day is we have a lot of Airbnbs, right? And maybe you all do have this. Like I said, I'm not too well versed on booking quality. But so if you have reoccurring bookings, right? Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, it saves the notes. So let's see here. Like it'll say only clean the basement, clean the bathroom. It'll say they have pets, stuff like that. However, with an Airbnb client, you could hypothetically put it in like the notes for that profile, but it would show up for every single one of their properties. I need when we go to create these bookings for these Airbnb owners, I sort of need like property specific notes. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Cause
Yeah. I follow.
or I don't know how you all would do it, but so if we have a client named Alex, for example, and they have 10 Airbnbs, if we go to make a booking for them, we just do it as like a one time clean. And then we select that address. Granted, there's like 11 addresses there. We select the address. Another good thing would be if like it auto populated based on the address, how many bedrooms and bathrooms it was, and it would have the notes saved from the last one time booking. Dude,
Okay.
that would help so much, bro.
If you If you haven't already put it in to our feature request page, do that because s- that's a good one. I like that one
Yeah.
a lot.
And I know most of the people I know that I talk to on Twitter day to day about house cleaning, they have the same problem. Like it's a highly requested. They just don't they're not active in like the Facebook book and call a Facebook group chat or anything like that. They just lay low and work on their business. But I know another guy in San Diego, another guy in Tampa that have a lot of Airbnbs, and that's the biggest issue is that they have to fill out all that information each and every time. Because at the start of the week, we have at least 20 bookings that are Airbnb. So you can imagine that takes
For
quite a
sure
bit of
takes up
time.
some time. Yeah, I like it. After this, I'll send you that link and have you add that in there for everybody to upvote as well. Final question. What advice are you giving your 10-year-old self with everything that you know now?
Start
Doesn't have
sooner.
to be business related.
No, so that's the big thing about me is other than like the business side of things, everything runs smoothly in my life. My relationships are pretty much perfect for what they are. Like me and my family are very close. My siblings, my girlfriend, my cousins, everybody's very close. My family's really small and we go to like the lake house on the weekends and stuff. So I wouldn't give myself advice more or less on that aspect of my life. But in the case of like the business and like the work life, start sooner, give yourself the work life balance, take your time, treat everybody that works with you as they are yourself. Everybody needs a reason to work and they need a reason to work. Sort of give a shit about your company, right? So, our cleaners, for example, I've met other cleaners that we've hired from other companies that pay them $19 an hour as an independent contractor. They're providing their own supplies, their own gas, their own phone bills, stuff like that to put more money into your pocket. Don't try to get over on anybody trying to make money yourself. Make everybody happy and you'll have a happy business. Treat your clients with respect. Give them reminders like you would if someone were coming to your house doing a house cleaning. Treat your cleaners as good as possible. Be fair. If someone cancels, give them a cancellation fee, even if you didn't charge one. It's not the end of the world. Just carry on. You'll have a happy business.
Hell yeah. I love that. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time
Of
today to
course.
share your story. I mean, it was great. I loved every minute of it. The things that you're doing with your business are beyond fantastic. Keep killing in silence. And maybe next year or a year after we'll touch base, do another interview, and
Of
you'll have
course.
3 locations or 4 locations and
Hopefully.
10 property buildings.
Hopefully. But thank you guys so much, and y'all are killing it over there as well. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you guys. I love how y'all take feedback from y'all's community via Facebook and stuff. So I'm more than happy to keep working with you guys. And if you ever need me for another interview, I'd be more than happy to do that too. And dude,
Appreciate it.
I've been wearing this everywhere too, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Awesome.
actually,
Might have to send you some more in different colors.
I need a hat.
Yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. All right, everybody. That's it for this episode, and we'll see you next time.